Okay, what you're about ready to see is the recording of the presentation that I gave in Baltimore this past weekend. Now, I was using an experimental camera that was supposed to follow me around the room and keep me in frame. Didn't quite work out that way. Most of the video I'm in the frame, but sometimes I'm going to walk off frame. You're not going to see me at all, but you will hear me clear as a bell throughout this entire presentation. So sit back, relax, start taking some notes. I hope you enjoy it.
We're here to motivate you, to inspire you, to give you all the how-tos that you could ever need in your business. You're going to see exactly what's possible. You know, it's for those of you that haven't been here before, and I know there's some of you that are still blown away about the volume that Mike can do out of a 2.5 bay shop. You know, so there's, you know, that kind of stretches you past where you thought possible. So that's going to inspire you, that's going to help motivate you and everything like that. And really, this is simple. What we're doing up here is very, very simple. You do what somebody else is doing, and you're going to get what they get. Everybody with me on that? Right? All you got to do is just simply, if they're achieving something you want to achieve, all you got to do is just listen to what they're saying and then do exactly what it is that they're doing. And it makes it just so simple to run your business. But, and here's the big but, you're going to go home with this, you know, from this meeting with like a lot of notes. If you're taking notes, Bill and Leanne, how many pages of notes did you have at that first meeting? 32 pages of notes. And then on their way home, were you in Vegas? Arizona, okay. So they go home, and on their way home, they come up with this ginormous list of everything to do, and they just start ticking them off the list. Just boom, 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 because that's really the only thing that's going to matter. At that point, it's only information we're giving you. But it's up to you when you get back to actually put it into action. Because if not, if it's just ink on paper or shoved away in your memory bank because you didn't write it down, it's worthless. Because we're going to forget, as I mentioned before, most of what's said, so you have to be able to write it down. But you go home, and I'm talking to everybody here in this room. You go home from the meeting, and what happens? Do you take action on everything? Do you take action on anything? Because it happens, right? It's hard. Yeah, it's like you're all full of piss and vinegar when you walk out of here, and you're going to do everything you need to do, but all of a sudden you go back and you get stuck in that vortex. You get shoved right back into where you were before, and then nothing happens. And then we show up in the next meeting. All excited, I'm going to learn something new. But what did you take? Did you take action on anything before? I mean, think about that. Did you actually take action on what you had before? So if you didn't take action on that stuff, then what we need to do is we need to change that. We have to do something different this time. Okay, so why is this happening? Well, what I'm going to do today, my job here is to lay it all out for you. I'm going to lay out everything that I know, that I found out, everything that I practice of why this happens, why you go home with all this information and never really do anything with it. We have to kind of break out of that cycle here. We're going to talk about what's really going on in your head, in your body, in your mind that's preventing you from doing this. I'm going to show you why it's happening. And then, here's the kicker, I'm going to have you prove to yourself that everything I'm going to be talking about this morning is actually happening to you. Because I can say this all day long, but until you actually prove to yourself that what I'm talking about is true, then you may not take action on anything. Okay? So I'm going to prove to you, and I have a very unique exercise near the end of my presentation that you all are going to participate in, and you're going to say, now I see. Now I understand. I'm going to go through all of this today, okay? So I'm going to show you how to break free of that cycle that I talked about, that vortex, and hopefully fix it. But I'm going to tell you, this is nothing more than the beginning of the process to fix it. I wish I could give you that magic pill to take that's going to get you to take action on everything that you need to take action on. I wish I could tell you that. I wish I could show you exactly that all you have to do is just do this and it's all fixed, right? But I can't. Okay, this is a process. I'm going to show you the beginning part of the process. And then, hopefully, I'll have given you enough information that you're actually going to start taking action on not only everything you learn here, but the process of actually getting shit done. Because that's really what we want to do. Because the whole idea is you're here because you want to change your life in some way, shape, or form. You want to change your business. You want to make more money. You want to have more influence on somebody. Whatever. You're here for a reason. So what we want to do is make sure that you actually walk away with all that you need. But it's not a quick fix. This does take some time. Now, I've been working really, really hard on this presentation. I will tell you that I've spent like probably 6-8 weeks working on this presentation. And the reason why I'm giving this presentation, and it's a different kind of a presentation, is because somebody asked me a question a while back. If you could go back to your 25-year-old self and have a conversation, but you can only tell them one thing, teach them one thing, go back in time, in a time machine, and have a conversation and just say, do this, and your life would be totally different. This is that presentation. This is that presentation that I would have with myself above everything else, because what I'm going to be talking about here today will literally transform if you pay attention, if you start to implement what's here. Okay, that's how important it is to me, and I thought it was important enough to give it to you. Because if I don't want to squander that opportunity. How many of us would like to go, not you guys that aren't even 25 yet, but how many people would like to go back and have a conversation with, knowing what you know now, go back to that 25-year-old self and have a great conversation? Anybody? Would you give them some great advice? If you can tell them one thing, what would that one thing be? I want you to think about that, because I thought long and hard about it, and this is the conversation that I wish I could do. Now, this is not a motivational thing. This is not a rah-rah thing. You're not going to walk out of here like, yeah, I'm going to crush it now. That's not what this is about, because motivation doesn't last. You guys know that, right? You get you pumped up, you go blasting through those doors, and all of a sudden, you're kind of, after a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, you're kind of back to where you were, right? Didn't last. So you need that extra, oomph, to get you over that next hump and get you pumped up again. Things like that. This is not going to be about motivation whatsoever. As I said before, we all want more. We want a better life. You wouldn't be here, right? Why would you be taking your time here if you didn't want more? You can't say, I'm fine, because you're here. You wouldn't have made the trip if you're just fine. Maybe you want more significance. Maybe you want to make more impact on the world. Maybe you care about your employees and you want to give them a much better, stable business. You want to impact. You want to like Berdad's here with his kids and have more impact and significance, with his kids. And that's the reason why he's bringing them here. Maybe you want to go home and you want to have that for your own family. You want to share that with everybody. Maybe you just want more stuff. I like stuff. Nothing wrong with stuff. Bigger house, nicer car, more stuff. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to judge. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you want. Whatever you want to change your life. Whatever you want to take yourself and move to that next level. And I guess if we took it down into like 3 areas, we all want to be healthier, wealthier, and wiser. Right? One of those 3 things. Or all of those 3 things we want. So I just want to tell you, you all want more. Okay? Now, how do we do this? How do we get more? How do we learn more? Well, look, we're in the information age right now, right? Google it. Take any subject, anything you want to be really proficient in or be an expert in. Google it, and you'll find like 1 million pages, right? You all know the information's out there. Hell, go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, and it'll go out and it'll find everything on the internet and put it into one nice little page for you if you want it. Go on Amazon. Hundreds of thousands of books on any one of those subjects. How to get healthy, 100,000 plus titles. How to get wealthy, 100,000 plus titles. How to get wiser, millions. So it's not for lack of information, right? We're not lacking information right now. Okay, in this information age, ignorance is a choice. I'm not saying it in a bad word, ignorance. I'm not calling you an ignorant person. I'm just saying if you choose not to get the information, it's because you chose not to get the information. This group here, as I mentioned before, every question imaginable can be answered right here. Stories can be given. Everybody can go and basically tell you exactly how they slayed that dragon that you're trying to fight right now. Somebody has fixed it. So the information is everywhere, and that's what's really amazing about this. There's no reason to be able to not run a kick-ass shop when you leave here, or just use this brain power. Leadership. Jerry and Bill have been talking a lot about leadership. We all know we have to be better leaders for our people. Because you can't keep saying, I can't get my employees to do X. Become a better leader. It's got to be all about you. More profitability. We're gonna be talking with Reed's going to come up, and he's going to be talking numbers, I guess, or part of numbers, because that's what he does. You know, Jerry let me know that Reed is going to be the guy that got him all excited about numbers. Oh shit! You know, here we go. Now we're talking numbers here. You know, but you know, he had an influence on Jerry, and then Jerry has done what he's done. You know, talk about hiring, talk about marketing, all that kind of stuff. It's all right here. Okay, so it's your choice. Now, here I've been talking 14 minutes. No, 11 minutes, and I'm going to talk about health. Just real quick. Just real quick. We all know how to get healthier, right? We all do. Anybody want to yell out? There's only 2 things to do. 2 general categories. Anybody want to yell them out?
Diet and exercise.
Diet and exercise. You got it. Just eat better, make better choices, and move more. Simple, right? But is it? It's hard. It sucks. You know what to do, but do you do it? Okay? So, you know, the funny thing is, since, I don't know if you noticed, I've lost more weight since the last time you saw me. I've transitioned into a different part of my life where I'm trying to slim down a lot more rather than try to be the big guy, and I'm trying to be the fit guy. So, but ever since I started doing more of that, I've become, as Jerry reminds everybody about the Shell answer man, you know, where you're there to answer everybody's questions. You know, they ask a question, you got the answers to it, but for some reason, well, I know a reason why, is people are coming up to me and asking me questions. Brad, do you get that all the time too? I do. People ask you because you're an expert, because you've done it before. Well, people have been asking me all kinds of questions. They ask me questions while my doctor friend is right next to me. They're asking me the questions. You know, it's crazy. But, you know, some people will say, you know, look, I'm done with this. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And they say, well, how do I do it? And then I tell them, here's exactly what you need to do. I lay out that stuff that's hard. Because if it was easy, everybody do it, right? So I lay out exactly the diet, what you can do, what you can't do. I lay out the exercise, but it's not that difficult. It's not, you know, super, you know, regimented, but it's just much simpler to do that. But then everybody wants to immediately start to negotiate with me. I mean, think about that. If I say what you need to do is you need to cut way back on the carbs, and you got to stop eating sugar, and you got to, at least for the first month, stop drinking alcohol, and you got to go and you got to work out at least 20 minutes every single day, and not a walk, move more, then they want to negotiate with me. They want what I have and what I got, because that's all I do. They want that, but they say, I don't like to exercise. I don't want to do that. Or I got to have my beer. Or somebody last night, was like, well, I got to have rice. It's like, no. The answers are right there. Don't negotiate, do. So I start thinking about that. And then, I start realizing that people want change. Everybody wants change. But change is hard. They don't want to change. They want the results, but they want to be the same person that they've always been. And that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on here. It's all about you. They want to be the same person, but get different results. It's that same thing. If you keep doing the same things over and over and over, you get the same results, correct? So how can you expect different results unless you make some change? So everybody fails at change. I'm not on a soapbox telling you that I'm perfect. This is from years of trial and error. I'm good at some stuff, but I'm horrible at a lot of other things. Okay, we all go through this thing. The problem is when you leave here, let's talk back to business, get away from that part of it. When you leave here, you have all this information, but you're the same person. You're the exact same person when you got here. Right now, you guys are you've got your own personalities, your likes, dislikes, things like that. You have all that kind of stuff, and that's not going to change in this room. Okay? You got the same thoughts. You're going to take the same actions. You have the same past experience individually, every one of you. You have the same biases. You have the same limiting beliefs that have been holding you back for years and years and years. That's not going to go away. You have the same self-talk. The things you say to yourself, consciously and unconsciously, that's all still going to be there. And you're going to have the same challenges that you've always had in your life. The things that are holding you back are still going to be there. You're going to be using the same excuses. You're going to have the same habits. We're going to give you some new beliefs, right? We're going to stretch the boundaries of what's capable. But I kind of look at that as those are kind of like in the recent file in your brain, right? It's something new. But that's one of those things, use it or lose it, right? You got those new beliefs, but unless you take action on it, they're going to go away. Okay, so you're going to be excited when you leave here. I know you will be, and you're going to have a lot of things to do, but unless you actually start taking action on it, make a habit of it, it's still not going to work for you. But then here's where the big problem is. You're going to go back to the exact same environment that you came from. That didn't change. It didn't change at all. You're going to go back to the same spouse. You're going to go back to the same employees. You're going to go back to the same business, the same customers. It's going to be the same environment that you were in before, and then, just like in the Matrix, you're going to assimilate back into the Matrix, and nothing has changed. Everybody with me on this? Everybody understand where I'm going with this? Because unless we change you, we can't change your life. We have to break that cycle, okay? Change you, change your life. Go ahead and write that down, because I think that's an important thing. I want you to focus on being able to change you. But the thing is, we know we need to change, but we can't. So I'm going to give you some tools during this presentation. I'm going to help you change. I can't change you. All I can do is make you 100% aware of what's going on so you can catch it, so you can make some change, because we all go through the exact same things. So why is it so hard to change? Because 95% of every day of our life is the identical remake of the day before. 95%. So we're on autopilot. Everything we do is on autopilot. Only 5% that we're conscious 5% of the day, and we're unconscious 95% of the day. We do things without even thinking of it. Has anybody ever taken a shower and then thought, did I wash my hair? Am I the only one? Why? Because we don't have to think about that stuff anymore. If you get in your car, sometimes you don't even remember getting to work. Yes or yes? We've all done it. Everything is so automatic that we just go about our day without thinking about it. That's 95% of our day. Is it any wonder we're not changing? Everything is on autopilot. Your brain and your body literally take over. Because think about this. All we're doing right now is we're breathing. Do we have to think about breathing? Imagine if we had to think about breathing. Imagine if we had to think about keeping our heart rate up. Imagine if we had to constantly check the level of our bladder so we don't pee ourselves. Imagine if we had to do all that kind of stuff and listen to me and take notes. We don't have to do that. Our body then takes over. And when our body takes over, it puts us in that comfort zone. We've all developed our own comfort zone. The things that keep us comfortable. If we're outside the comfort zone, we are uncomfortable. When we're uncomfortable, what do we want to do? Be comfortable again. But when most of it's happening automatically, you start straying outside there a little bit, and your body starts saying, nah, let's do this tomorrow. I don't like this feeling. I'm getting a little nervous here. I don't want to do this. And what do? Without thinking about it, you just go back to what you've always done. The blissful comfort zone is what we stay in. And we didn't even realize it happened. Has anybody ever said, I'll start tomorrow? Yes? Okay. So we got to start realizing this stuff is happening here. That comfort zone is our thoughts and our actions. Okay, so what are some of the unconscious thoughts that we have? And I know, if not all of these, we've had those things. I can't. What's wrong with me? I'm not worthy. Who do I think I am? That's for him, not for me. His business is different. My business is different. I'm not good enough. That's hard. Anybody have any of those thoughts before? It's kind of uncomfortable to hear somebody else tell you what your thoughts are, because we all have them. I'm no different. I'll never change. I am the way I am. I'll never make it. Nobody loves me.
I do.
Thank you. I can never catch a break. Any of this familiar?
Oh, yeah.
You hear those things. It's your mind telling you those things. And if you want to make a change, guess what? Your mind is unconsciously saying that shit. You don't even realize it's happening. You've said it so many times. It just happens it just blows by. Just like you've been driving your car so many times, getting in, putting the seatbelt on, you don't remember doing it because you do it so often, you don't realize it happens. Well, imagine if your mind is constantly saying, I'm not good enough. It's not for me, my business, all those things. And it's that poison that we get in our head. If that's not enough, I'm talking about the mind, let's talk about the body. Because the body then takes over a lot of the same stuff and just goes on autopilot and starts giving you emotions like fear, anxiety, sadness, humiliation, unworthiness. Those are emotions that happen to you automatically, right? And when those happen, what do you realize? You're outside your comfort zone, and where do you go? Right back to your comfort zone. So your body is giving you clues or cues, and your brain's giving you cues, so you're getting bombarded from both sides, and all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, no wonder I'm not getting anywhere. Because when we try to make a change, our body says, but I'm okay. I'm fine. Because we don't want to change. This happens to everybody, correct? Okay, I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. This happens to literally everybody. So what happens when we start getting outside our comfort zone and start doing things we don't want to do? Stress, fear. Don't we seek distractions? So you're sitting and you know, I need more car count. So yeah, I gotta take the car count. You sit down at your desk and you open up and you start looking on the member site and you're like, I wonder what's happening out in the shop. And you go out in the shop, right? Or, oh, wait, I forgot to check Facebook. Or, oh yeah, what's in the email today? Anybody? Yeah? Do we know we're doing it? Is it unconscious? We get so uncomfortable, we got to go out and do something different. And that's the crazy thing about this thing. We don't realize it's happening. How many times have you realized that you got so, you got away from what you're supposed to do, and all of a sudden, you wasted all of this time and nothing happened. It's just crazy. Well, the question I would have there is, why don't you have clarity when we have so much information? There's more than enough information out there. Okay, so he asked, do we not do this because we don't have enough information or clarity on there? Well, go get the fucking clarity. I mean, it's all right out there. It's there for you. But that becomes an excuse of saying, I need more information. Do you? Look, if you've been in this room here and somebody tells you exactly what to do and you don't go out and do it, or you try to change it, or you try to assimilate your way of doing things in with somebody else's way of doing things, yeah, then you're just going to go back to the same thing and saying, I don't have enough information. And that's part of this whole wheel here. We have to start looking at ourselves and saying, why do I keep asking myself? Why do I keep saying I need more information? Sometimes, and the reason is because it's scary to go forth and do something different, to go into the unknown. That's not your comfort zone anymore. Sometimes people agonize over a decision, and I've used this thing of like, which software am I going to use in my business? You agonize and agonize and agonize. I need more information. I need to talk to more people. Just do it. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much all the same. You're never going to use all the features they have anyway. Yet you feel comfort in the investigation part because that's you. I investigate everything. I know everything there is to know about everything before I make a decision. Is that serving you? Probably not, because it's going really, really slow. So here's the reason why. Your brain and body are there to protect you. You guys realize that, right? They're there to protect you. You are supposed to be on guard since like thousands of years. If that bush rustles a little bit, is there a tiger in it? Am I going to have to run? Am I going to have to defend myself? So you're on guard. Your brain is there to protect you. That's really all it is. Your brain is an impediment to your success, big time, because it won't let you stray outside your comfort zone. And your body is doing the same thing, fight or flight. You get that anticipation. I got to run. I got to get up. I got to walk around. I got to check Facebook. I got to do something else other than this thing. And they're both bombarding you, and you don't even know it. Well, now you'll know it. And that's part of the presentation here is I want you to become aware that this stuff happens. Because if we're going around unconscious all the time, and we're going to be reliving the day we had before. We all kind of laugh over the whole thing of the reliving Groundhog Day, right? It's Groundhog Day, same day over and over and over. And we're like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. Until you realize, yeah, 95% of what I just did today, 90% of all the thoughts I had today are the exact same ones I had yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that. We're living Groundhog Day over and over and over. Okay? So your brain is there just to keep you inside that comfort zone. So what happens? If we keep doing the same things over and over and over and over and over, we keep running the exact same programs in our head. Okay, that's where the brain then starts to say, this is just the way we do things. It becomes part of your belief system. You're willing to fight to the death to argue over a point that you're right about something because you've done it so often, you actually believe it. You're using the exact same scripts over and over and over. You're running the same habits over and over and over, and they totally get hardwired into the brain. And when that happens, you develop your personality. This is where your personality comes from. It's all your beliefs and all your actions. That is what creates your personality. And what comes out of your personality is your personal reality. Based on who you are, who you've become, that is now how you see the world. And that's why we kind of say, oh, it's not for me. I can never catch a break. Because that's your personal reality. Are you gonna succeed telling yourself, God, I suck at this. I hate marketing. I hate numbers. Is that going to serve you or not? Yet we keep running that same thing over and over and over. We label ourselves. You know what I mean by label ourselves? You say, I'm not good with numbers. I got to have my alcohol. Where's Tom? This morning, what did you say to me? Remember? I move real slow in the morning. You just labeled yourself. As simple as that. Is there any way he's going to get out of bed and have a hell of a workout if in his head, I don't mean to pick on you, but in your head you're saying, I move slow in the mornings. I don't get a lot done in the mornings. Guess what? You're right. You will move really slow in the morning because that's your personality. That's your personal reality that you've set. Here's the kicker. Here's the thing that'll blow you away. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts in our head every single day. Did you realize that? I have no idea how they counted them. Don't ask me. I have no idea. But the general acceptance is there's about 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day, and 90% of those thoughts are the exact same redundant thoughts as the day before. It's crazy. Now here's what happens with those thoughts. Those same thoughts that we have going through our head lead to us making the exact same choices every single day. When we make the exact same choices, we experience, or we make the same behaviors. We take the same behaviors that go along with those choices. Those exact same behaviors then create the exact same experiences every single day. Again, it stems from the thought. Those same experiences that we're out in the world experiencing give us the same feelings and emotions. Those same feelings and emotions drive the very same thoughts, and around and around and around we go. It's a hamster wheel. Over and over and over. One thing leads to another, to another, to another, to another, to another, and back around again. And that's why it's the exact same redundant thoughts over and over and over and over again. And we have to change that. So in order to change that, we got to look at where the thoughts came from in the first place, right? So what I'm trying to do is kind of peel back the onion here. Go deeper and deeper and deeper so you fully understand exactly what's going on. Well, our thoughts and experiences and things like that, they're formed over years and years and years of being on this earth. You know, sometimes when you're a little kid, something happened to you. Maybe you got lost in a mall one time. Or maybe your parents went out and left you alone for too long and you got scared. And now you have feelings of abandonment somewhere down deep inside. You know, maybe you were in high school and you found out that your high school sweetheart was cheating on you. And all of a sudden it's like, damn, I can't trust anybody. How's that to carry forward? But we don't really think about that. But that happens to us enough. We start getting these cues, and then you start wondering, can I trust this person? Can I trust that person? And now you got worries about trust the entire time. It's all about the upbringing that you have. Even the people you hang around with, especially the people you hang around with. Let's think about this. You always heard me say, and you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with most, correct? Well, why is that? Well, think about it. Why are they your friends in the first place? Because you just like them. Who loves hanging around with somebody that's totally opposite them, that just grates them the wrong way? Has different political affiliations, has a totally different way of life. See, nobody likes to hang around with people that aren't like them. So what happens? You just assimilate back in, and you're inside your comfort zone again, aren't you? With all the people you hang around with. And then what happens? It's the exact same conversations over and over and over. You're not expanding. You're not getting out that way. Everybody's experienced traumas in their life. Some major traumas. Some just little small ones, but they all made an impact on us. That's what made up our belief system. That's what made up our biases and things like that. We've had different experiences in the past that created you. And like I said, ask somebody, why are you this way? They're going to come up with a story. They're going to recall something that happened to them in the past. It's like, why can't you trust your employees? Why do you have a problem with employees? And they'll tell you exactly the reason why. Well, we had this employee. He was with us for 15 years. He was over our house for Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner. And then one day we realized he was stealing from us. They can even go back to that story. So what's the story you're telling yourself? Everybody else have a story that you could rely on? That I know this is fact. This happened to me. Therefore, I am this way. Now, it's not just the memories that you have in your brain, it's the emotions that are tied to it. Think of your most embarrassing moment. Think of it. Think of your most embarrassing, cringeworthy moment. Just think of it. Everybody got it? You feel it? See, you don't have that memory in your head. You also feel it in your body. It's like, oh, shit, yeah, I did do that. Or that did happen to me. So you feel that. So there's more to it than just the thought of it. And what happens is emotions then keep us in the past. It's the fear, it's the anxiety, it's the self-doubt, it's the embarrassment. Not all bad. It's the joy, it's the elation, it's the bliss. I don't mean to be talking all the negative stuff. We're programmed by the good stuff too. But when we fail, we carry that forward as well too. But here's the kicker. Do you realize 50% of your memories are bullshit? 50% of your memories are wrong. Totally wrong. Now, why does this happen? Anybody tell a story ever and maybe slightly embellish it a little bit? Anybody? Just a little bit? Anybody other than me? We all embellish stories, right? We got a story. This is what happened. Okay, so, I'm talking about an accident I had, and I'm talking with the guys. Well, I don't want to be, just some wimpy guy. I want to be a little bit more cool, and so the level of pain that I experienced all of a sudden is elevated way up because I'm talking to the guys, right? I don't want to be like, oh, I hurt, I was bleeding. And you wouldn't believe I scraped the crap out of myself, and and you just embellish that. Well, guess what? You just raise the bar. Because the next time you get that memory back, that's part of the memory, and now you recount it to yourself and you embellish it again. And you embellish it again and again and again and again. 50% of your memories are not what happened. They aren't. Just a little side note. So that bullshit story you keep telling, it's bullshit. It didn't happen that way. I mean, that's actually been proven to happen. Now let's talk about addictions. We're all addicted to a lot of different things. Now, an addiction sounds bad, but what is an addiction? Addiction basically is something that we know is bad for us, yet we tend to choose to do it anyway. That's what an addiction is. We know stuff is bad for us, but we do it anyway. Think about the food you eat. Think about, maybe, is that ice cream healthy for you? Yes. No, but it tastes so damn good, right? We know it's not good for us, but we do it anyway. Sugar, by the way, is the most addictive substance on earth. Try giving it up. Just the thought of not having sugar, most people are like, holy shit, there's no way. Why? Because you're addicted to it. It's okay. It's just, we crave those things. We want them, Alcohol. Everybody thinks of being an alcohol addict. They're not. But when I tell somebody you got to give it up for 30 days, now the negotiations start coming. No, I got to have my beer, got to have my bourbon, and I got to have my drink when I come home from work. Well, that's because it's an addiction. That's all it is. It's a reward. It's not a reward. See, again, and not to pick on you, but we look at that, we make up this shit in our head to say it's okay. But when you really look at it, I'm not judging here, by the way, I'm not, but if we really looked at it, it's not okay. We look for those articles of, whoa, I need to have a glass of red wine every day and it makes you healthy. No, it's not. Alcohol is not good for you, okay? It's not. But it's okay. Drink it. Doesn't matter. But some people are addicted to drama. Anybody where drama is just all about them, right? They're everywhere. The whole thing is just, they're so drama-filled. Everything in their life is drama, 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 drama. And guess what? If there's no drama, what happens? They create it. Because that's where their comfort zone is, right? If chaos isn't happening around me, if drama's not happening around me, I'll just make shit up. I'll make it happen. And they don't even realize they do it. How about people that self-sabotage? You get some wins, and all of a sudden you find one way to really screw it back up again, right? Happens all the time. Some people are addicted to getting pity. They will, if they can't be the best person in the room, they want to be the worst person in the room. Somebody's got something really good to say, well, theirs is the opposite. I can't beat that, so let me tell you how shitty my life is. Right? And then they get addicted to saying the things that are bad about what's happening. And they do it unconsciously. It's just their body is so addicted to doing that kind of stuff. And is that going to serve them? Absolutely not. I mean, that's a problem. But the problem is we get a dopamine hit in our brain. It's like cocaine for our brain when our brain does something to protect us. Takes us inside that comfort zone, reward gives it a hit. You're fearful, now you're not fearful, brain takes a hit. So that happens enough and all of a sudden it becomes a habit of not doing the things that we know we need to do. Think about this, and I'll speak very frankly here. Any of you that are getting older, like me, that are saying, I don't feel the way I was when I was younger, this is just part of getting older, you're wrong. And there are ways to feel better. I feel better now than I did when I was in my 30s. And I'm 61 years old. I feel great now. I didn't realize how bad I felt until I felt great. But I was telling my story of, I'm just falling apart, I'm getting older. I got these aches because I'm getting older. Things like that. Those are the things we tell because you know what? It's harder to make the change than it is to complain about what's wrong, isn't it? It's easier. If anybody's got type 2 diabetes, 100% reversible to get out of type 2 diabetes. 100%. Joint pain, being overweight, all of that is reversible, but the problem is it's such a pain in the ass that you got to go through to be not those things. How about in business? In your own business? We'll keep the lousy employee. I'll deal with the bullshit with the employee because I don't want to deal with having to find somebody new and train them. So you'd rather deal with the present comfortable situation of complaining about this guy than actually go through the work to fix it. Everybody with me? Anybody do that before? Same thing when you're dealing with your profits. Well, it's going to be so much of a pain in the ass to do everything and look at the books and all that kind of stuff. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing before. Low car count. Yeah, I don't want to do marketing. Screw marketing. I don't want that. Let's check Facebook instead. We just do that. If you're working too many hours, well, what do you got to do to fix it? What do you got to do to fix it is uncomfortable because you haven't done it before. So we just fall right back into the thing where we just continue to work more hours. I mentioned before, it's the same thing with everybody saying, I'm fine. I don't need much. I have everything I need. If we say that to ourselves, that's just the story we're saying because it's more uncomfortable to make the change, to become somebody new, to get somebody new. Change you, change your life. They want to change your life, but they don't want to change them because there's the comfort zone. But you can't get from here to there. You just simply cannot. This is the reason why I say this is the conversation I'd have with the 25-year-old self because you have to realize all this stuff's going on. We're fighting an uphill battle to get to that next level. I was reading, just side note, I was reading Elon Musk's book. You guys, I mentioned it. And I caught myself thinking this. It's like, no wonder he's so successful. He's borderline autistic. He has the inability to have the same thoughts that we have. How lucky is he to not be able to have these emotions that hold him back? He is where he is because he's an emotionless guy, and I found myself like, gosh, he must be lucky because he can get past all this bullshit. I mean, it's just really, am I the only one that thought somebody else with a disability is luckier than them because they didn't have to deal with stuff? I don't know. All right. But here's the thing. Here's the big part. Most people wait for a tragedy to happen before they make a change. Now, guys, I don't want you to get and experience a tragedy before you finally make a change. But we all know somebody who did. Somebody had a heart attack or a stroke. And that was the thing that, I better start taking care of myself. It took that, them almost dying, for them to make that change. How about somebody in bankruptcy? They go through bankruptcy before they finally realize, maybe I need to get my finances in order. Maybe I need to do better with what I'm doing, with my situation. We look at myself. I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease. It's an autoimmune disease. I can't have gluten because what happens is that my body, for some reason, thinks my thyroid is an enemy. And it starts invading it. And it's fed by the gluten. So I can't have gluten anymore. Well, that's actually, when I got diagnosed with that, it took me 6 months before I actually did anything about it. But then when I did, I realized I'm on the wrong path anyway with my nutrition. So I just went all the other way. So lost like over 20 pounds simply by changing and fixing what was wrong. But it took, for me, a tragedy in some ways, not total tragedy. It's not like I was going to die from it or anything. But in order to make a change, that's what it took for me to do that. Why wait? Why wait? What if you could be unbelievably healthy, wealthy, happy, and content? What if you could be that guy? What if you could have anything and everything in life you ever wanted? Would you be willing to try something new? Anybody? Would you be willing to do something a little different? Maybe something out of the ordinary to break past the cycle that you've been in? If so, you're going to love what I'm talking about now. Because what we want to do is we got to break the cycle we got to figure out, now that you know what's going on, now you know those conversations you have in your head, now you know how your body reacts to those feelings, those emotions. Now you know that every day is the exact same replica as the day before. Now you know all that stuff, right? Did I tell you anything you didn't kind of already know? I mean, I shine a light on it, but you've had the conversation in your head. So you know it's happening. You felt the way you felt because it's happening to you. So here's what I want to do. I want to show you 3 ways that you can start right now to start breaking free of this. Okay, there's 3 ways that I can tell you right now. This, as I said before, this is a process. We're not going to fix it all here today. The first and the most important thing is realize that it's happening. Okay, that was my, the first part of this presentation here, but for this last half hour, I want to show you exactly how to break free. And there's simple little things you can do. And it starts with not having the same day we had yesterday. So what we want to do is we want to start to break the routine of yesterday. And the day before, and the day before, and the day before, and the day before. We want to break those routines because those routines are not helping you. They're really not. So what do I mean by that? How do we break that routine? Well, real simple. What time do you go to bed? Just have it in your head. You don't have to yell it out. Well, that's why they have the blue plate special. If you go to bed at 8 o'clock. Okay, but if you go to bed at a certain time, if you've got that time, change it. If you already go to bed really early, stay up an extra hour. If you go to bed late, go to bed earlier. What's that going to do to your day? It's going to change your eating. It's going to change your activities. It's going to change a lot of what you did before simply by changing your bedtime. Get up earlier the next day, or get up later the next day. If you're really regimented right now, you go to bed at 8 o'clock and you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning and that's the way your day is and everything works that way, great. Change it. I'm not saying it's a permanent change, but we have to start breaking free of that cycle. I go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning. Okay, that's my rhythm here. So why not go to bed at 8:30 or 8 or 10? Just change that a little bit because it compresses or expands your day. It expands the day the next day if you get up earlier. So important that you do that, all right? So change that. Reverse your morning routine. You get out of bed. I'm not going to tell you to pee last. Go get your pee, all right? Go to the bathroom first, but then what do you typically do next? So if you go to the bathroom, then you go turn the coffee maker on, and while it's making coffee, then you hop in the shower, and then you do this. Reverse it. Change it all up. Go take a shower, then make the coffee. While the coffee's doing, then brush your teeth. Just change whatever you consciously do. Most people's morning routines are the exact same every single day, right? Without exception. It's the same thing. So much so you don't even realize you're doing it. It's just part of the mental checklist you don't have to think about anymore. You want to really screw things up? Brush your teeth with the other hand. That'll change it up. It'll hurt a little bit too. How about driving a different way to work every single day? I started doing this a month ago and it's been great. No 2 days in a row do I go to the office the same direction. Sometimes I go 20 minutes out of my way to make a totally different route. Maybe I'll go and I'll wash the car, go to the car wash this morning and then go this way. Or I'll go to this car wash, but maybe I'll go to this car wash over here. Or maybe I'll go the quickest way to the office. But every single day is totally different. What's happening here? See, these really simple little things, by changing these little things, you start thinking about it. Why am I making this change? What's happening? What's going on? Because now you're then starting to remember that I don't want this day to be the same as the day before. You start becoming conscious instead of being unconscious. As simple as this is. This almost seems stupid simple. It's like, why am I wasting my time on here? Because this is what's required in order to start making changes. If we keep doing the same thing over and over and over, we're going to keep getting the exact same thing. So let's change that. How about going in later? If you're the first guy at the shop and the last guy to leave, why not be the last guy there and the first person to leave? Do you think that's going to change the way you run your day? Your entire work day? Absolutely. How about if you're working a 4 or 5 day work week, work 4 days? Jen and Mike, you're open over 4 days, right? By the way, that is a superpower that if anybody wants to know how they're doing it, that's probably a great conversation to have. If you have thought about doing a 4 day work week, go talk with them. But that will drastically change the way you run your business. And we don't want to run our businesses the exact same way. Sure, the things that are working really good, we want to keep and bring those forward. But all the things that aren't, the things that don't serve us, we need to change that as we go forward. Second thing. First thing is mix up your day. Second thing is change your environment. You got to change your environment. Look, if you're trying to lose weight, you can't eat the donut that's not at your house. If it's not at your house, you can't eat it. Last night we were at dinner. Ordered a steak. And it came with a heaping pile of mashed potatoes. Well, those that know, all I do is eat meat now. I don't eat anything else, just meat. And before you say, well, can you eat? No, it's not meat. I don't eat it, okay? So meat, that's all I eat. And it came with mashed potatoes there. Now, I've been doing this long enough that it doesn't bother me to have the mashed potatoes there, but my mind and my body started doing, I had to catch myself doing what it used to do. Cut a piece of steak, grab a little, the steak on the fork and grab a little of the mashed potatoes and eat them at the same time. It's the way I always ate them. Well, they're sitting on the plate, and I wound up doing it a couple of times, not even thinking of it. Caught myself, but that was the brain taking over. It was the same thing. And also, Jerry had the same meal I had, I believe. And on the way back, he's like, man, it sure was hard staring at those mashed potatoes. I wanted to eat them. I get it, 100%. I'm past that now, but Jerry's working his way towards that. It happens. If it ain't there, you ain't going to eat it. It's the same thing with any habit you're trying to break. If you want to break the habit, just get it away from you. So stop the temptation. We're creatures of habit. We have addictions to different things. Don't tempt yourself. If you're not trying to drink, don't go sit in a bar. That's simple, okay? So change that environment. You can't worry about the economy or the election coming up or taxes or any of that stuff. You can't worry about that if you're not watching the news. Can you? If you're oblivious to it, can you worry about it? No. What about these constant interruptions? You know we're all addicted to this damn phone, right? All addicted to it. It can't interrupt us if it's not sitting in our pocket. I honestly thought about doing this thing. I'd have you guys check your phones at the door when you came in. To just watch the fear and the anxiety of you guys leaving your phones behind. You guys know what it's like. Anybody actually make it all the way to the shop and forgot your phone? Yeah, that's like, oh my God, my umbilical cord does not stretch that far. It's just like, I'm attached to this thing. I mean, think about that addiction. And how often does it go off? Oh, and by the way, we're trying to get stuff done. And we get that very welcome text. I don't care who it's from. I'm going to read that text because I don't want to do what I'm trying to do, right? So you can't be interrupted if you don't have the phone with you, okay? So very, very, very important. The third thing here, and this is the biggie, and I'm going to kind of come around to a lot of what I talked about here, and this part will change your life here. All of it will change your life if you do it. But this is, you got to become conscious of those unconscious thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You have to make a practice of being present and understanding what's going on right now. Because this stuff happens. You all know it happens, right? It's very familiar what I talked about before. But if we're unconsciously letting that do that, your body has taken you over and keeping you in your comfort zone. So those thoughts, and I'll give you a few more thoughts here. I'm not good enough. This isn't for me. Some of you probably have already been thinking that. This is all bullshit. Probably went through your mind. Why is he talking about this? I want to know how to get more car count. This guy's talking a bunch of bullshit stuff. I don't need to hear this. Why is your brain telling you that? Because I'm asking you guys to change, right? Do we want to change? Yes. Is it easy to change? No. That's the reason why you're getting that argument. I'm worthless. People are going to judge me. Who do I think I am? I can't change. Nothing ever goes my way. Here's a biggie. I don't like confrontation. Does that serve you? Does that help you? Announcing to the world or yourself, I don't like confrontation. If you're a leader, you have to confront people. Here's another one. There are no good texts. If you keep thinking that, that's a bullshit story you keep telling yourself. I have to do everything myself. If it's going to get done, it's going to get done by me. This is stupid. This works for everybody else but me. What about those fears? Fear, frustration, guilt, anxiety, resentment, hopelessness, overwhelm, impatience, regret, confusion, all that kind of stuff. Now remember I said before, all those thoughts and feelings, how do they interlink with each other? The same thoughts lead to the same choices lead to the same behaviors lead to the exact same experiences, the same experiences lead to the same feelings and emotions, the same feelings and emotions lead to the same thoughts again, and around and around and around again. We have to interrupt that pattern. Change your environment, change the way you do things, and then start thinking. Start thinking about thinking. That's really what this is. Think about thinking. And then, when you feel something come on, when you feel a thought or hear, feel a thought, yeah, you can feel a thought. If you feel a thought or hear a thought happening in your brain, stop. Take a minute, stop what you're doing, and ask yourself, where is my head right now? If I'm scared right now, where's my head? Am I thinking about the past or thinking about the future? If I'm fearful, I'm thinking about the future because I'm scared of what's going to happen, right? We can't get scared about what happened. That's in the past. If you say nothing ever goes my way, where's your head? In the past, right? You're drawing on all those past experiences where things didn't go your way. You say there are no good texts, where's your head? Past or future? Past. You're thinking about all the shitty texts you've had. Anxiety, where's your head? Future. You're worried about things that hasn't happened yet. Nobody has a crystal ball. We don't know what's really going to happen, yet you're anxious about it. Why are you anxious about it? Because your mind and body are relying on past experiences, but your body is projecting into the future. Guilt. Where are we at right now? Guilt. In the past. I screwed up. I shouldn't have done that. That's where our head is. So what's happening here is our mind and body are either reliving the past or they're projecting an unreal future to us. Anxieties, thoughts, things like that, you're either reliving the past or you're projecting a different future, because we haven't lived in that future yet, have we? So we don't know what's going to happen. What I want you to start doing is, when that happens, you have to stop, and when I say by stop, think about where my head is. Once you realize where your head is, you've now become present. I know this sounds a little woo-woo here, but you want to become present. Because here is where you can design the perfect future. Here is where you can do something. If you're reliving the past over and over and over, you're going to keep replaying the past and getting the past. If you're projecting the past into the future, based on what happened last week, this is going to happen next week, we're still reliving the past. But if we start thinking, say, why am I scared right now? Why am I anxious? Why did that thought cross my head? Now we're in the present moment, and the present moment is the only thing we can control. It literally is the only thing we can control. We can't control what happens tomorrow. We can't go back and fix what happened in the past. So we have to become present. And then you get to make the decision. Is this thought or emotion something I want to carry forward into my future? Will it serve me? Will this help me in the future attain whatever it is I want to attain? That's a really, really important question. You have to ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this going to help me in the future? If not, you got to get rid of it. You can't carry guilt or fear or anxiety or feeling unworthy or unlovable. You can't carry any of that stuff into your future. Leave it back then. What happened last week, we can't help. What happened last year, we can't help. The only thing we can do is design the new future. And the only way we get the new future is thinking about what's happening right now. Based on what's going on right now is where I'm going to go. And that's the important thing. How does this work in a real life? Does a fit and healthy person, so you decided you want to lose weight. You want to become fit and healthy. Okay, let's say that's your goal. Yes, this is your goal. Everybody in this room should have this goal regardless. Does a fit and healthy person say, I'm not the kind of guy that works out? Do they say that? So if you want to become a fit and healthy person and you have that thought in your head, what do? You just basically say, that doesn't help. So you got to get that out of your head. Become that person. When I met Reed back there, I said something like, I'm not a numbers guy, and I caught myself, didn't I? I caught myself. Because that doesn't serve me. If I want to be a great business person, can I say I'm not a numbers guy? No, that doesn't serve me. So I changed it to, I'm a numbers guy soon. I'm moving that way because that serves me. That will help me with my future, what I want. So those thoughts, you have to start looking at it. I'll work out tomorrow. Is that what a fit and healthy person says? No, do it now. I'll start Monday. I'll just cheat this once. Now it's okay, by the way, you can cheat all you want once you've gotten to your goal. But if you're trying to lose all kinds of weight, you have no business having cheat days. You really don't. Get to where you want to go and then you change. But don't try to take your old life and take it in the future. And the same thing happens with your business. Does a kick-ass shop owner say, I hate confrontation? No. There are no good techs. I'll take care of this tomorrow. I can't get my employees to do what I want them to do. I'm not good with numbers. Those things don't serve you at all. So in the present moment is where you have to make the decision. This works for me or it doesn't. It's just that simple. Either it's going to work for you or it's not. If it doesn't work for you, get that thought out of your mind. Find a way around that. So, this can be fun. Anybody want to know how to become present? The best way to become present is a daily practice called meditation. Now, listen to yourselves. What's happening in your head right now? What did you just say in your head? This is bullshit. This is stupid. There's no fucking way I'm doing this. Exactly. Does that serve you? Now remember, I said this is the conversation I would have with my 25-year-old self. Everything I'm saying here is that important that I would that is the most important thing I could have, is this same conversation I'm having right now. And I'm going to tell you, learning to become present is something you need to do, right? And why not give it a try? You all said you'd be willing to try something different. Does anybody meditate on a daily, weekly basis? Okay, fantastic. A couple of you? Fantastic. Has anybody tried to meditate before? Done it and thought, man, I really suck at this? Yeah? Okay, well, you're all gonna do it now. You are. Okay? Because remember, I said in the very beginning, I'm going to prove to you that this is happening in your own brain. I will tell you exactly what meditation is, because that's a great question, and I'm going to tell you that, because you have to know what it is and what the goal of a meditation is. All right? I'm not trying to get all woo-woo on you, but what if I was? Doesn't really matter, okay? So I want you to do this. I want you to try this, because I want to prove to you all the things that your mind and your body are going to do to sabotage you. And you're going to become present. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. You're going to feel it happen right now, okay? So here's what meditation is. I'm going to play something. This is 12 minutes. Listen to what your brain just said. 12 minutes? What the hell? It's 12 minutes. This is going to be a guided meditation. So the guy's going to tell you what to do. He's going to tell you to close your eyes. I'll tell you, close your eyes. You know, you're not good enough yet to walk around with your eyes open and meditate. So he's going to tell you, and he's going to give you a couple suggestions of what to kind of visualize. Walking down a beach and picking up a stick, just so you can help get a little bit focused. What a successful meditation is simply this. Your eyes are closed, and you just listen to yourself breathe. Pay attention to yourself breathe. Or there's some music, there's some thing that in the background, or listen to the music. Now here's what's going to happen. That only works for like 5 seconds. Then your mind's going, choom, it's off here, it's there, your body's shifting all over the place. Your job is a successful meditation. A successful meditation is you realizing what's happening and get back to thinking about your breathing. If you hear yourself breathe and you pay attention to air's coming in, air's coming out, that's all I want you to focus on. If you don't want to focus on that, focus on the music. But I find it's easier to focus on the breathing. Okay? When you stray, not if, when you stray, the moment you become present is the moment you say, I've strayed. Back to listening. And that's all this is. That's all it really is. It's simple, but remember I said I'm going to prove to you that all this stuff is happening to you without you even thinking about it. All right? This is going to... Now, by the way, this is a very safe place. Nobody's judging. Nobody's doing anything, okay? Nobody's going to be looking at you like you're the only person with the eyes closed. None of that, okay? That's not what's going to be happening in here. All you need to do is focus on yourself. Take this time to be by yourself and actually do it. Don't sit there and say, this is bullshit. I get it. I thought the same thing too. I really did. But let me tell you about meditation. Some of the most successful, happy, genuinely happy people that I know all meditate every single day. And it's one of those things, success leaves clues. You hear enough about it, and some of the guys that I know that are just like phenomenal in life, that truly have lives that are worthy of aspiring to be, they all meditate. Kind of a clue, okay? So, hey Charlotte, do you know how to dim the lights? Okay, so all we're going to do here, we're not going to get weird or anything here. I'm going to turn this on. Just listen to it. The guy's going to tell you when to close your eyes. And then, and at the end of this thing, by the way, it's 12 minutes long. So at the end, he's going to tell you to open up your eyes, and then we'll be done. Okay, everybody cool with this? It's okay if you're not, but do it anyway. Okay, I want to kind of force you guys into doing it. All right. So here we go. Now, just get comfortable, lean into your seat or wherever you want to do. You're going to close your eyes, just kind of Just try to stay comfortable. It's okay to shift in your chair a little bit if you need to. All right, Charlie, you want to turn the lights back on? So, let me ask some questions here. Who was kind of still freaked out about what was happening? Did you guys hear the voices that were going in your head? How difficult was it to actually sit there and think about nothing? Anybody?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I was counting how many times my mind drifted off.
Okay.
13.
13 times.
Yep.
Now this, when you think about this, and my brain's going a million miles a minute because I'm doing this presentation up there, and I kept fighting. 13 was nothing. I probably was like, I've been 113. I was like, God damn it, stop, But what happens is, and the only reason, I'm not saying you have to meditate. That's not the purpose of this thing. The purpose of this exercise was to show that even though when you try to quiet your mind and become present and understand what's going on in your head, it's so difficult to happen. And when you're going and you're running around unconscious of everything that's going on every single day, it is so difficult to stay back on track. So when you find yourself getting off track, get back and say, okay, enough's enough. Okay, why am I doing this? Why am I thinking this thing? Because it's important that you take and get rid of those thoughts or those emotions or whatever. So here's the thing. Now that you're aware of all this stuff, you now can start to change it. If you want to meditate, this was a Zen 12 thing. It was like $30 or something like that, and they give you 10 months worth of, it shows you how to meditate and just progressively get better and better. This is the introductory one. It's very simple. I'm still actually in the very first module of this thing too, because but I tried it every single morning. First thing in the morning is now a meditate, because then you clear your mind of all the stuff, the list of the to-dos from before, the meetings I got today, things I got to do, and it gives you at least 12 minutes of peaceful in the beginning of the day. So that's what I do. But look, if you put this kind of stuff into practice, everything I've been talking about, I mean literally, you can be, do, or have anything you want, because you're now in control. You're steering the ship. It's not on autopilot anymore. You got to catch yourself when you say, I'm the kind of guy that does this, or this is stupid, ain't no freaking way I'm going to do this. Ask yourself why. It's just a simple question. Why? Well, because that's not the way we've always done it. Why? So when you're hearing everybody up here and the speakers talking about what they're doing in their business and how to do things, and you catch yourself saying, oh, that's good for him, but my business is different. Catch yourself and say, why? Why does it have to be different? Do I want what he has? Do I want the success he got from this? And if the answer is yes, then quiet your mind and say, wait, this isn't helping me. Is everybody with me on this? Everybody understands? You got to take control back over everything that's happening. Get rid of that unhelpful software that's been written in your brain because you've done things over and over and over. Overwrite that software. Get new habits, new practices, everything, and repeat it over and over and over until that's the new thing. The new thing, the better you, the thing that actually serves you going forward. Look, we've all accomplished a lot in our lives. Every single person here has accomplished amazing things in their life. Some more than others, depending on what you want to use as a scale. But despite all this baggage, all these thoughts that are going through our heads, all these emotions, all these things that we've been talking about, we've accomplished all this great stuff with it. Imagine if we can get rid of that crap. Imagine if we made a practice of thinking better thoughts, projecting more positive thoughts going forward, not carrying that baggage of this is the way we've always done it, or I'm not that kind of guy. You guys know that. Imagine how far you could go if you got rid of all the baggage. Imagine that amazing future that you could be walking into without those limitations. Now remember, as I said in the very beginning, I said during this presentation too, this is the exact same presentation, this is the exact same conversation I would have with a 25-year-old self. Because when you do this and you become aware of it, you start to master this part of it, literally all things are possible. It's a totally different life. Whatever you want to be, do, or have, you focus on who you need to become in order to get what you want. A lot of people get that backwards. They say, I want this, and then you focus on the do, the list. Oh, I got to do this, then I got to do this, got to do this. What I want you to do is take a step back and figure out who you need to become. What thought processes do you need to get rid of? How do you become that person that is going to do that? Become that healthy, fit person. Become that kick-ass shop owner first. The rest comes easy. It really does. Because when you become that, it's so simple to get to the next part. Last thing I have is for your question. Now you know this information is in your hands. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to think, oh, that's bullshit, or oh, that was a waste of an hour and a half of my life? Or are you going to put it into practice and just see what it can do for you? Because 90%, 95% of everything we do every single day is the exact same repeat of what we did the day before. We've got to break free of it, try something new, and let's see where the results are.